So in this quick video, I'm going to show you what I'm starting out with on the old Mini 1275 GT. So this is the rear radius arms. That's what they've come off the car like. Pretty grotty, not really rusty, just surface rust and a lot of road dirt. What I've done is I've chiselled off all the road dirt and whatever, and then I've degreased them, and then I've put them in the old sandblaster and I've sandblasted them. I'm using glass beads, and the glass beads have been in there a while, so they've got more like a dust, but it does give a real nice shiny finish, pretty much. So these are going to go away to an electroplater's and get done the goldy sort of colour. Here's one of the back plates, same thing, that's going to go away, be electroplated. Even the brake drums, I'm going to get them done gold as well, and it'll stop them going all rusty and horrible like they normally are. So when you take the wheel off, it'll still look nice. Front tyre rods, they're going to go away. Now, I have made myself a little electroplating station, which is over there, which I'll go and show you right now. So this is my little setup I've made up out of bits and bobs. Now, everywhere else in the world you can buy this kit from Caswell Plating. I've found them in Australia, America, the UK, but in New Zealand, not available. I don't know why. Anyway, I've had to make it all myself out of bits. So what we've got, I'll show you. The first tank is my ultrasonic cleaner. So this has got a heater and the ultrasonic, so that gets stuff pretty bloody clean. Then it goes into my rinse bath, which is deionised water. From there, it goes into an acid bath, which is spirit of salts, hydrochloric acid, whatever you like to call it. Distilled water, 20% of hydrochloric, spirit of salts in there. And a little fish tank heater. So that gets heated up to like about 30 degrees, something I think is the max it'll go up to. But it helps all the crap off. It takes all the old plating off as well. I've got some bits that I'm going to do in a minute. That's the brake parts off of the rear radius arms there. That's the handbrake lever, the springs, the little quadrant that goes on for the handbrake cable and stuff. And some other bits and bobs as well. Even one of the brake pipes, they're in such good condition that I'm just going to replate it because there's no rust on it. It was just dirty, so I thought, bugger it, make it look pretty. So that's what we're going to do. Anyway, acid bath is the third step in it, even though I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, so from the acid it goes into a rinse bath and get all the acid and crap off, and then it goes into my plating solution. Now I've made my own plating solution because it's hard to buy all the other stuff. So there's two different ways you can do it. One, which I have got, funny enough, I have bought some stuff for it, but I need to buy a lot more stuff. Ammonium chloride, zinc chloride and nickel chloride. But I need much bigger quantities to do 20 litres of solution. So I'm gonna have to buy some more of that, and then I'll tip out this one, which is it's more of your DIY system. So that is deionised water, white vinegar, and Epsom salts. So that makes your electrolyte, which basically makes the water conductive. I've got 4 zinc anodes in the corners of this plop here. I'll just pull one out and show you. I've just got them from Temu, funny enough. Another fish tank heater, a fish tank air pump, which agitates the water. I've also put into that to try and make it a bit brighter, because it doesn't come out that bright with that solution. So with the other one, apparently it comes out bright, but with that it doesn't so much, with the vinegar and the Epsom salts. Did manage to get this, it's like a chrome brightener, like a brightener, nickel and whatever your brightener. That did come from Caswell. I could get that because it's not controlled over here. But the yellow chromate is what I'm really struggling with. So I've made everything else up out of bits and bobs, but yellow chromate, or there's a couple of different varieties of it, but you just can't buy that over here. I don't know why. They said it's controlled. When I tried to buy some from Caswell, Australia, they said, I can't sell it to you in New Zealand because it's controlled. Anyway, that's my little solution. And then the final one is a rinse bath. The final one for me is a rinse bath, but normally you'd go into the yellow chromate and it would come out that nice goldy colour. But I can't do that, so that's why the bigger parts are going to go away to a professional and hopefully come back all nice and shiny and goldy coloured, so a bit like the original. Better than the original, because I don't think they ever were plated, they were just cast, and they go all grotty and horrible on the car. So when this car's finished, my intention is for it to be better than a new car. Everything will be plated so it won't rust away. Underneath is going to be shiny as. The whole car's going to be, it'll be like a bit of a showpiece, I'm hoping. That's the intention anyway. But what I'm going to do is I'll do some plating and we'll see how we go. Now, I'm not an expert at this. I haven't got a bleeding clue what I'm doing. I've just been doing a bit of YouTubing, just seeing what other people are doing and doing my own take on that. I say the bath, I've got a lot of people use crocodile clips. I haven't got any crocodile clips, but I've got lots of copper pipe kicking around from heat pumps we do. So I've made my cathode connection, my negative connection, is a bit of copper on the side of the tub there. I've done a couple of bits and it has worked. So I'll show you what I've done. This is that's the bonnet spring. So I've plated that. Normally that's just all rusty and horrible. So that is now plated in zinc. It does come out dull, so what I've had to do with that is just go over it with a brass wire brush, and it brings it up nice and shiny, look. So now that can go back on the bonnet once I've painted it. Also, these are the bolts for the front subframe. Again, they've been nicely nickel plated, not nickel plated, sorry, zinc plated. I say nickel because I have ordered some nickel as well, because one chap in the UK was using nickel and zinc and getting some good results, but he's got that other plating solution. I don't think it'll work with this one. Throttle linkage off for my 2 1/4 shoes, I've done that because that was all grotty, so that's all nice and shiny as well now. Anyway, I'll go through it and we'll do a little test run. You're supposed to measure all of the surface area of all the parts, and then your amperage is what you set your little power supply on. The amperage depends on the surface area of the part you're plating or want to plate. Seems like a right pain in the arse to me. But what I found on these other bits is I've put them in the solution and then I've cranked it up till it starts fizzing, then turned it down till it stops fizzing, and it seems to work. But I don't know if that's right or not. But as I say, I'm no bloody expert, I'm just having a crack in it. So for the first part of the process, I do recommend you have your rubber gloves on, a proper mask, not just a dust mask. You need something that will take out organic vapours, because that's going to give off some nasty shit when I put the parts in the acid, and some goggles. Now, I don't know about you, I will wear this while I'm doing that bit because I've got a hobby called breathing, which I like. So, yeah. Get yourself some decent gear if you're going to play with this stuff. But better safe than sorry, innit? Hey. So I'm going to chuck these first bits in our little acid bath here. And yes, that is a rear slave cylinder. They were like new, to be fair. Everything looked really good in them. So although they were just mild, like just still not plated, so I thought what we'll do is we'll plate them, so they won't rust. So you can see everything is fizzing in there now. So apparently what you've got to do is, once it stops fizzing, is when all of the old coating's off. Been some people using just neat hydrochloric acid, but I don't think you need to. It seems to be going very well with that dilution. So we're going to leave them. And as soon as they've stopped fizzing, that means that all of the zinc coating has been removed. The old zinc coating's removed. And then we'll go into our rinse bath. So I'll leave them for about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. Let them stop fizzing. So that stuff's been in there for a little while. Most of it has stopped bubbling, so all these have stopped bubbling. But for some reason, that wheel cylinder's still bubbling. It looks clean as, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to call it enough because I'm very impatient. So, next thing to do is go from here into our rinse bath, like that. Give them a good rinse off. I'll just let them sit in there for a minute, and then we're going to go into another tank. Now, I've got some bits in there that I've just been playing with just to so they come out like there's some brake hoses. It comes out very dull for some reason until you get the brass brush on it and then you clean it up. Anyway, I've finished with my acid one for the minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this up. So I was going to take this bloody mask. Right, so they're all nicely rinsed. And I'm just going to go into our plating bath. As I say, I don't know what current I'm supposed to be doing on these because I haven't worked out how many square millimetres or centimetres they are. So I'm just going to wing it. So that's all in our pickling solution. Turn that on, and that's kicking 1 amps at the minute. Here, 0.91 amps, and stuff is starting to fizz a little bit. So we're going to go down a little bit. I think I'm going to take it down. Here we go, about 0.5. See if it's still fizzing. It seems to me that just when it stops fizzing, it seems to plate a little better. If you have it too high, it goes all furry. But with a copper wire brush, sorry, brass wire brush even, you can just brush off the furriness and they come up bright. So that's probably the pickling solution. It's a DIY one, not the pro one, which I will make eventually and do some more parts. But for now, I'll probably leave that. I don't know how long it's going to take, probably 20 minutes or so. So I'll leave that bubbling away, and hopefully when we come back, have some nice shiny bits. Just show you that's fizzing away it is, but not too much. Hopefully all of them have got a good contact. Anyway, we'll leave that. Let's have a quick look at some of these bits. Now it will be dull and grey if it's got a coating on it. I won't really know until I've rinsed it all, but I'll just give that a rinse and show you that. So that looks like it's got a decent coat of zinc all over it, but I won't know until I just give it a light brush with the brass brush, and it will go shiny as, because the zinc's very soft. But it looks like it's had a good coating. It's been in there about 20 minutes, I'd say. And it's not all furry and horrible, which is I've seen a lot of people's come out like when it first comes out. And I think that's because they've got the amperage too high. So I'll let them dry off a little bit. Here's one of our brake pipes. And I say the only reason I'm redoing these, because I was going to just make new brake pipes up, but they're in such good condition. Look at that. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, apart from it was dull and horrible. So once I've shined that up, that'll come up like new as well, or better than new. So let's let them drip off. And our last piece is our wheel cylinder and these little bits. So the little bits have all taken very well. The wheel cylinder doesn't look, it still looks as it did when it went in to me. But I don't know, I'll put a wire brush on it and see. I might give it a little bit longer, but the nuts and the washers are definitely done there. I'll show you those quick. And the spring, that's all done. So it's just that bit in the middle. So I might cut these off and put that back in on its own and just see if it does anything, or put it back in the acid and start again with it, just so if we can get it to do something. Anyway, I'll cut these bits off and give that another crack. But everything else is plated. That is pretty nice. So these springs will be all nice and shiny, even though you won't see them, they'll be in a brake drum, but I'll know they're there. And so will you if you watch the video. Anyway, I'm going to cut these off and put that back in. Yes, it smells nice. So there's our brake pipe, just done with a soft cloth. Look at that. Posh as, eh? So a bit of wire wool or a brass wire brush, you can bring them up, but that looks pretty bloody good to me. So there's that bit. Let's try another bit. That is the brake actuating lever. Goes inside the brake drum. Just wiping all the water off of it. It's not bad at all, to be fair. That's just wiped. And then if I get my little brass brush, because the zinc's soft, it shines pretty easy. This can be a lot better than some rusty old piece of dung hiding away in your brake drum, wouldn't it? Give him a wipe. But I think that's pretty good. What do you reckon? Got a good coating on it, that's good. I'll play with some more bits and see if we can get some more bits shiny. I'm just giving this wheel cylinder another whack in the acid. Seems to be fizzing still, so it must still have some coating on it. I don't know whether they've got a varnish on the outside of the thing. I didn't wire wheel it. I'll just leave it in there a bit longer. Hopefully there's still a wheel cylinder in there when I come back. It might just be a little blob on the end of the thing and I'll have to buy new ones. But these wheel cylinders look like they've all been replaced. They look new, the rubbers are all good, the pistons are mint. Everything looked really nice inside. Brake shoes are stuffed, they're old. One thing I did find, the reason I couldn't get the old brake drums off was because someone had wound the adjusters right the way through pretty much. So they was all the way through and yeah, there's no meat on the shoes at all. So yeah, rather than putting new shoes in, they just thought, bugger it, and wound it in. Anyway, I'm going to clean some more of these bits up and show you. So I'm just giving this wheel cylinder another crack. I'll just give it another clean just in case there was any crap on it, but it looked really shiny, to be fair. It up to 1 amp and so that does. Maybe there weren't enough amperage because it's quite a chunk of metal. This power supply goes up to 40 amps, so I bought a big bugger because just in case I do get to do anything a bit bigger, but I'm restricted to the size of these 20 litre buckets, to be fair. All of this I just found locally. It was from Blackwoods in Palmy, 20 litre things with lids so as you can seal them up afterwards so you don't get all shit in them. And I think you're supposed to filter it occasionally as well, filter your solutions because they get all bits of crap in them, but these not been used. It's like pretty much brand new, isn't it? But I've just polished up some bits, I'll just show you. So, when I say polished, just gone over it lightly with a brush. Here's one of the springs. That's the handbrake plate off the back. These are the brake pipes that were on the back of the Mini. They were brand new. They just were dull as, so I just put them in the acid bath and replated them. So look at that. Very nice, all the nuts and all the washers, which were all a bit pooey. There's a little handbrake quadrant. All nice. It's a long old task doing all this, but the end results will be worth it. So when you look underneath this car when it's done, she'll be like a new car. You'll think it's a brand new car, hopefully. That's what I'm going for, but that's the little process that I've been following. And as I say, this is all over YouTube. Other people have been doing it, probably doing it a lot better than I am because they've been doing it a bit longer, I don't know. And they can get the gear because they're not in New Zealand. But it's not that hard. I could have sent all these little tiny bits away with the big stuff that I'm going to send away, but the chances are you're not going to get all your nuts and bolts back because their tanks are huge that they use on the commercial ones, and if they lose something they're not going to go and drain the tank to get it out, are they? Whereas all these little bits I can do, keep an eye on it and I can see in the bottom of the tanks, but the big bits I can't do because I'm restricted to this. So next week I shall be taking the radius arms, back plates, brake drums, all of the front suspension parts. I'm going to do the drive shafts, the front hubs, everything that I can is going to be done in zinc plated with the yellow passivate or chromate, whatever you'd like to call it, because they've got it there. I ain't. Anyway, let us know what you reckon. Have I done a good job or not? Have you had a crack yourselves? Probably you have. Anyone's got any hints and tips on how to make it better, improve it, so I haven't got to use a wire brush and whatever to polish it up? Put a comment in if you like, or don't, up to you. But yeah, that's my little setup. Thank you very much. Just a quick update on the wheel cylinder. So looks like I probably had too much stuff in the bath, all the little bits which they take their plating pretty quickly. It's a big chunk of stuff. So I've whacked it up to 1 amp on its own, and already it's been in there 5 minutes and it's already taken a coating. Look at that. So that's now got zinc on it. I'll leave it a little bit longer so it gets a good covering. Don't want too much, obviously. Then I've just got to clean out the bore with a bit of emery paper or something just to get the zinc out of there, or just to give it a little bit of like a hone, if you like. Polish it up, and then that can go back together with all my parts that I've done. I'm just going to put in a little box and just keep cranking away like this. But yeah, bloody marvellous. Wheel cylinder. It took a coat, it came out lovely. So I can rebuild in there. In it. There you go. Electroplating at home.